So let's assume the SEC approves your application. What kind of impact would a Bitcoin ETF have? Could this be a sell on the news event? What happens from here? Let's assume this is approved. It was the Winklevoss twins who filed for the first Bitcoin ETF. It was 2013, as I recall, and I think it took until 2017 for the SEC to reject that application along with all the others. Do you believe your application will be approved? And why do you think so? And what kind of negotiations have been in with the SEC about this? Give us a sense of where we are.
Sure. Well, we do think the probability is very high that that Bitcoin ETFs will be approved this week. And the reason, as we've been saying, is, the SEC actually, after, denying a number of times, started asking questions, very good questions, very detailed questions, very technical questions. So I think they've asked all the questions they need answered, and I think most of us have probably been a part of that, process.
So let's assume the SEC approves your application. What kind of impact would a Bitcoin ETF have? I mean, we've all noticed this run-up in Bitcoin ever since BlackRock announced their interest from 30,000 to over 40,000. All of this is anticipation of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Could this be a sell on the news event? What happens from here? Let's assume this is approved.
Sure. I think so many people are expecting now a sell on the news that we might not have a sell on the news because, once you hear that enough, the positioning is already taking place. So who knows? It's a very short term. All we know is with our 5-year investment time horizon, we think the flows into this new asset class, especially institutional flows, but also retail flows. Retail has led the charge, of course, that they're going to be quite substantial. And it won't take much of an allocation by institutions into Bitcoin to drive what is becoming a scarce asset much higher.
You recently reportedly sold Coinbase stock. This is usually considered a proxy for Bitcoin. So what are your thoughts on Bitcoin now? What kind of, flesh out your ideas a little bit for us.
So on Coinbase, it was up 400% last year, and we as we do normally, and you've seen us trading around Tesla, now trading around Coinbase, a lot of good news. It became the largest stock in our flagship portfolio. In terms of Bitcoin, we think we've got 3 very big reasons for it to continue to move higher. One, it is digital gold, and gold is a $12 trillion asset. I think Bitcoin might be up to 800 billion right now. So we do think there is some substitution taking place. And the institutional flows, if the allocations were as little as 2.5% to 5%, which is where we think they will end up, you'll see 0.5 and then 1%, you'll see a legging in. That could be the biggest reason for a Bitcoin to go up because, we're at 19.5 million Bitcoin outstanding already. 15 million roughly are in long-term hands. They haven't moved their Bitcoin in more than 155 days. Therefore, we know we're only going to 21 million units ever. So this indeed, from 19.5 to 21 million, is becoming a scarce asset.